future tomorrow together. Think next. Think next.
And here we go again. Ladies and gentlemen, so happy to see you all here at this second plenary session of this edition of Think Next. I have a question for you. Are we having a good time? Are we having a good time? Excellent. I can tell you that we are reaching record numbers with the attendees this year. Last year, we had 1,300 attendees. This year, we have 1,800 attendees. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for this second part, we have many interesting parts as well on the agenda, so make yourselves comfortable, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. That's what I would like to ask you. And without much further ado, I would like to welcome back to the stage the corporate segment lead and CEO of Proximus Next IT. Please welcome Anne-Sophie Lotgering. Let's go! Have fun!
So, good afternoon, everyone, once more. Since I left you from being on stage, I hear you've all been extremely busy. You've been going to your breakout sessions, you've been watching interactive live demos, you've been having drinks, you've been networking with your peers. So all in all, I hope you had a very enjoyable experience thus far. One of the points that I stressed upon earlier, remember I talked to you about what we saw as being the major ICT trends. We're going to come back to that in a minute, but we're going to do it slightly differently. I've mentioned also how important it is for us to work in an ecosystem of partners, putting everything that we're doing in music for our customers. Well, there's no better way than to actually provide you with the visibility of how we do it by inviting one of our strategic partners to come with me on stage. So, before anyone sort of shouts out her name, I will ask you to welcome with a very, very warm round of applause the General Manager for Belgium and Luxembourg of Microsoft, Marijke Schroos. Marijke, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you very much for coming.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Maybe before we start our panel session together, I thought you could maybe say a few words. I know you're very well known by a lot of people here present, but for those of you who might not know you as well, feel free to sort of introduce yourself a little.
Okay, so I'm Marijke Schroos. I'm the General Manager for Microsoft Belgium Luxembourg. I've been working for Microsoft already for more than 20 years. I took this position about 2 years ago. I'm not a techie, I'm not a tech expert. I actually have a background in social sciences, but I'm a true tech optimist, and I couldn't have chosen a better time to be here in this position than right now.
Well, we want some of that optimism, so you'll share some of your anecdotes with us. So, as you remember from this afternoon session, we talked about the ICT trends. We talked about the fact that ICT spend is still growing in 2025, and this investment is split into 3 big pots, if I can call it this way. We had everything that was around cyber resilience, we had everything around digital sovereignty, and last but not least, of course, around AI, and more specifically, generative AI. So I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts, Marijke, around Gen AI, and how do you think it will evolve?
Oh,
it's a big question to start.
Absolutely. When I saw the first demo and the first use cases, I said, wow, this is going to be really game-changing. This is really going to give us the opportunity to counter all of the big problems we see in the world. Game-changing, but also in the everyday, it will give us a lot of benefits on personal productivity, on the way we learn, on the way we make decisions, even how we can increase our creativity. So if I can give you a few examples, for me personally at the moment, I save about 7 hours a week. I'm a heavy user of everything we produce, but I've learned a lot from my colleagues there. So for example as well, I got some of your questions in beforehand, and then I typically ask my co-pilot as well, what would you answer? And then it gives me like 70% of the preparation already. But you see also more profound usage of Gen AI, for example, in the schools, where technical reading, you need to learn to read at a certain age. Typically it takes 18 months, but with the help of Gen AI, where you put a child in front of a camera, they get texts to read loud, and then they will get adapted texts, of course. That takes 6 weeks to make major progress. So all of these things make me believe that we are at the start of something very big.
Yeah, no, I have to say we also both went to the Gartner IT Expo in Barcelona. Well, you did. I got stranded at the airport, but I did watch all of the replays. And one of the points that they mentioned is businesses can, of course, implement AI at their own speed. And we get a lot of questions from different CIOs saying, where should I start? How can I get my business AI ready? What should I be thinking about in terms of infrastructure? What advice would you give those CIOs about how to start and where to go?
Yes. So I was at the Gartner Symposium and I've learned there a lot. I think there's also, it's good also to get a good understanding of what Gen AI can bring to your organization. I think it's very important as well that you're mindful that it's not an abracadabra, a magic thing that will overcome. It's really, it's just a tool. So it needs to fit in your business strategy. So you really have to think through your business strategy and then see what Gen AI can bring to you. And then if you look into the use cases, I think it will bring benefit for each and every one of the employees. But there are certain business cases where it will be much more. And typically what, for example, what Gartner was calling out was that the low experienced and the low difficulty tasks like call centers, etc., they benefit a lot. But who benefits also a lot is the high performing, the high experienced in very difficult cases, like for example auditors or lawyers, and there you see the huge increase in productivity. So when it comes to adoption, I think defining those use cases is important, and also finding your stakeholders. What we typically see in the early adopters is that they have foreseen a certain budget to start with, but then they need to make sure that all of the stakeholders are also in. So make sure that they are in right from the beginning, deploy fast and to a big audience, because you learn so much from each other. The unlearning is also part of the change management you need to go through. And then last but not least, of course, assess your data and make sure that you have the trust and the risk management also in place.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's a really good point, because when you're building everything that's related to AI, applications and projects, companies should make sure that they also do it in a sovereign way, keeping their data resilient, of course, local, and under their own control. So sovereign and AI clouds are both essential. Now, I'm very interested to know, and it might be a bit of a tricky question, so I apologize in advance for asking you. But since you're working for a US company and you're based in Europe, what is your take on the advance of sovereign clouds in Europe?
Okay. So first of all, I'm happy to be European. I think Europe is putting the individual and society at on the same spot, and that requires regulation, while the US is more focused on the individual, Asia more on society. We've got the ideal combination. And I think we found a solution for that as well, technology-based, where you can still have the full benefit of the public clouds, while also having Microsoft Cloud for Sovereign solutions added to that public cloud's experience. And I'm very pleased to have Proximus Next as our actually pioneer for worldwide. And meanwhile, there are some other partners worldwide joining the club as well to deliver these Microsoft Cloud for Sovereign solutions now here in the Belgian Luxembourgian markets. Because you're adding also a lot of the local flavor, making sure that, because it's a journey, there are changes also along the way, making sure that we are 100% always compliant with local regulations to keep that data here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as you know, we're also working with Thales and Intel, or we have worked with Thales and Intel to make sure that we also add extra ultra-secure encryption to the Microsoft Cloud for Sovereignty platform and attestation solutions. So maybe moving from this part to another key emerging, well, key trend, which is not at all emerging, but a key trend around cyber resilience. As you know, Proximus Next publishes every year a report on how businesses in Belgium and Luxembourg actually are impacted by everything that's linked with cyber. And one out of three companies that were surveyed said that they had suffered some sort of cyber attack. And out of those, 50% said that it had actually impacted their operational resilience, either losing data or losing intellectual property. Now, with cyber resilience becoming more and more important, we also see local regulation evolving a lot in different manners, with NIS 2, which came into force in Belgium, further, of course, strengthening the cybersecurity requirements. And we had our CIOs also on these sofas explaining how it was also for them an opportunity to raise awareness in their executive committees. Now, companies, though, often feel that these regulations are a hindrance to innovation. So what is your opinion on this? Do you think we can be compliant as a company and still innovate?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think I use the comparison of the Formula One. It's a highly innovative sport, but it's also highly regulated. So if they can do it, we can do it as well. And I think the regulation is useful. I think cybersecurity is a real threat, and we need to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve. And next to that, if you look at the AI Act, I think a game-changing technology can be game-changing for the good and for the bad. So we need to make sure that it's for the good. So I think the AI Act, the regulation that has been determined in the AI Act, is actually very useful to look in those cases where it's going to bring a lot of value for the organizations, but also for society as a whole.
So I totally agree with you. Now, if we were to move on to another topic, as you know, and for a lot of people in the room as well, they're aware, Microsoft and Proximus signed a 5-year strategic partnership last summer in June. And I thought you could maybe give us a few words about what that partnership means.
Yes, so we have been working together already for quite a while. But it became now a very intensive and a very deliberate partnership, so really strategic on 3 different pillars. So first is the cloud infrastructure, because it will enable our country, the organizations in the country, the institutions in the country, to be fully ready for what's next, generative AI and all of the new technologies that will come. The second is digital identity. At this very moment, 7,000 password attacks a second are happening.
7,000 password attacks a second.
Every second. So it is important to work on those digital identity and the communication as such. And then, of course, cybersecurity and the sovereignty. So there we are working now together in a very intensive way, and I'm very grateful for all of the support you're giving in all of the experts to make sure that they know our technology as well and to bring it together to the customers.
Well, that's a great transition, actually, because there's nothing better than seeing how a partnership comes to life with a customer reference. And we've been working together on one specific customer, which we'll spend a little bit of time on, which is National Lottery. So for a number of years now, National Lottery has been entrusting us with their digital transformation in collaboration with yourselves, in collaboration with our affiliate Codit and our wider ecosystem of partners. If I were to take a little step back, I think the collaboration started really in 2021 when the National Lottery migrated to a new gaming platform, the online player portal. So what we did is Proximus Next basically provided the content delivery network, the CDN, to securely manage the back-end traffic between the lottery and its digital platforms, the website and the app. And you were, of course, extremely involved, including on the technical side.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Cody did a tremendous job there to make sure that the connection from the online player over the application towards the full backbone of the National Lottery, that worked seamlessly in a very high-performing way, but also with 100% security. So that's, I think, the ideal example of being innovative while adding the security there as well.
Yeah, and talking about security, most recently we also implemented Microsoft Sentinel, an information and event management platform to monitor security around the clock. Now, this system now covers all of the lottery's communications, including their headquarters, their retail shops, and their corporate infrastructure. On top of that, our Security Operations Center provides 24/7 monitoring and proactive threat management.
So it's not just about the implementation, but also the full management of the SOC services, so really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a true strategic partnership that this case highlights, and we're very happy also to have the trust of the National Lottery to work with them on making sure that we basically manage from their connectivity to the network management, to security and real-time monitoring through our SOC. We've created an end-to-end solution together. So we look forward to continuing on growing our partnership in the years to come. And I'm so happy that you were here with us to share some of your insights and expertise. Do you have any closing words before we both leave the stage?
Well, I'm very happy to be here, of course. I think it is an amazing thing you have put together here. We do a lot in the online world, a lot of Teams meetings. Those have a lot of value, but I think bringing together the people here, the technology, the people, and then learn together and explore and connect with each other, it's really worthwhile coming here. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Please give me a warm round of applause to thank Marijke profusely for being here with us today. Thank you so much.
And Anne-Sophie, thank you.
Excellent work, ladies. Round of applause on Sophie and Marijke. And now we are slowly but surely coming to the end of this edition of Think Next. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Now, I hope you've all enjoyed this year's edition as much as I did. After all, we hope that you've been inspired today. Now, this brings us to our next speaker. As we all are aware that we learned a lot throughout the day about AI and how it will be prioritized by IT. Our next speaker will now explain how AI is here to help take customer intimacy to the next level using advanced virtual personalities. And that's why I would like you to welcome the chairman of Chroniclefields, Pieter Marnef.
Hi, everybody. Ladies and gents, I have a question for you. What is one of the most important things in life? What do people need? What do they seek for? What is really valuable to every single individual? I know what you're thinking. He's probably talking about some erotic stuff or something. No, people, it's another human connection I'm talking about. It's everything to do with having friends, having family, having colleagues, being part of a community, not being alone. That's one of the most important things in life, right? If you take a look at it from a business perspective, it's called, and we probably all know the term, it's called customer intimacy, having the deepest rooted connection with your clients, right? But if you really want to have like the deepest rooted connection with your clients, we cannot talk about customer journeys or something. We cannot talk about audiences. Those are terms for really groups of people. We are not cattle. We are not a group of cows or sheep. Ladies and gentlemen, we are individuals. Every single one of you is unique. So your customers as well. So this means you probably want to create not customer journeys, but live journeys. And you need to adjust it all the time, not every year, not every month, not every week, every day, because it changes all the time and it needs to be personalized. So for companies to have like customer intimacy at the highest level, or you want to do something with it, you probably have like 3 options. Now, option number 1 is don't do customer intimacy. It's way too expensive. Well, that's probably an option for the losers, probably your competitors, because they are losers, maybe. So don't do option number 1. Option number 2, this one you need to write down. Option number 2, ladies and gentlemen, you take your mobile phone and with your Proximus account, of course, you dial 0091 and then all the rest of the number. And then you probably arrive somewhere in Mumbai. Yeah, in Mumbai. And you have some great companies over there, but you also have a lot of cheap-ass companies, and they will deliver a shitty job. So don't do option number 2, it's for your competitors as well. Now, maybe option number 3 can be quite interesting. Option number 3 is implement or take advanced technology and implement it in your lean operations. Now, yeah, you probably think, yeah, okay, we can take AI and AI will do the job for us, but is it even possible to have like a virtual entity create a connection with real people? Well, we did do the test though. I had like, at the beginning of this year, we had a really big music event in Sport Palace Antwerp. Like 64,000 people were attending, quite a big show. We had 4 shows, and people were waiting. So we created a quiz. People could scan the QR code, and because they were waiting, and they could play the quiz with a virtual quizmaster. The virtual quizmaster was, of course, AI-infused. And the cool thing about it was about an average time of 20% of the time while they were playing the quiz. It was about the quiz. But the other 80%, ladies and gentlemen, was just chatting with a virtual quizmaster about the show, music, things in life, the ups and the downs, etc. And the craziest thing was when a month later, when I closed down the account of the virtual quizmaster, I had some really bad phone calls of people calling me like, excuse me, the quizmaster is gone. Can you please put her back online because I'm still chatting with her? So for me, that was the cue of, okay, we really can create a really intimate relationship between virtual entities and real people. Now, let me go back in time. 6 years ago, I created a fictional TV series, and it's called Thank You Next. It's actually a good title for here. Thank You Next, and it's about a real character with the name Emily, and she creates a virtual avatar for school purposes. And you see Marcy over here with the name Marcy. Now, over time, Marcy becomes more realistic. AI is taking over, and Marcy starts to have her own life, and she creates music, and so on. And so suddenly you have like a sort of tension between the real Emily and her virtual alter ego. Now, I can tell you, when I told this kind of format to the TV stations back then, 6 years ago, the TV station were like, okay, Pieter, are you totally crazy in the coconut? I mean, what the hell is artificial intelligence? Nobody believes it. It won't work. We won't do it, period. Okay, fine, another format in the closet or something. No worries. But for the past 2 years, I've been doing some research and development on artificial intelligence because it's cool stuff, of course. Everybody likes it. And so I had something like, you know what? Let's just launch Marcy. Yeah, why not? Because we have the format, we have the profile, we know what she looks like. We just create some music and we just launch her. Let's see what happens because it's fun, right? So suddenly in June, overnight, she was all over the place in media. I even got some phone calls from the Netherlands doing some interviews and podcasts about AI and the music scene and music and entertainment, etc. So it was quite fun. Now, the nice thing about it is that at the moment, Marcy is actually has a contract with Proximus Peaks. So she's one of the TV hosts now at Proximus Peaks alongside the real TV hosts at Proximus. The other thing is, last month, for example, we had even a performance of Marcy at the TMF Awards. So with some kind of hologram technology, she performed live on stage together with Jessie of Jessie featuring the Mackenzies. And we created a duet number with the name Virtual Love. So yeah, it's actually cool that she's living the life I wrote about 6 years ago. And it's not finished. We also have a collaboration with Pelkman's Publishers. And Marcy is writing a book, a futuristic novel, and we will publish it next year. So yeah, Marcy is doing her thing. Now, when we launched Marcy, we had a lot of phone calls of people and company who were asking themselves, is it possible to create some kind of Marcy being for our company? And that's why I joined forces with my colleague Stan Bakens, and we launched a new company, Chroniclefields. So we are a startup, and we are in the middle of an investment round. So if any one of you want to invest, we will give you our bank account number for sure. And we want to create advanced virtual personalities. That's a term we invented ourselves, AVPs. We call it AVPs. Now, the most important thing is that an AVP, because you have lots of tools to create virtual beings and so on, but we want to do it on another level. For us, everything has to do with customer intimacy. We want to have the deepest rooted connection with fans. So we created our Delta Intimacy model, and it's based on 3 important engines. Engine number 1, ladies and gentlemen, is of course advanced technology. Use AI. We want to develop it ourselves, and we are developing as we speak, and use it in a premium way. That's really important, but everybody does it, no problem. Engine number 2 is infinite storytelling, ladies and gentlemen, but it needs to be infinite. The story will not stop. You cannot just create a fiction series or some story lines and a script, and then you give it to the client and it's finished. No, everything evolves all the way, so it's infinite, multi-dimensional storytelling. And if you combine those 3 engines with emotional connectivity, because you need to understand your customers, you need to understand the fans, and you want to do something with it. If you combine those 3 things, you have what we think is our strategy. You have the highest level of customer intimacy with advanced virtual personalities. This is a trailer of Chroniclefields.
Vlaanderen heeft een nieuwe popartiest, Marcy Cortega. Het speciale aan haar, ze bestaat niet echt.
Mag ik je voorstellen, Marcy Cortega, het nieuwe muziekfenomeen in Vlaanderen. Al is het nog even wachten op een meet and greet.
Ze vermoeden dat zo iemand, zoals Marcy, binnen zoveel tijd, als ze een paar hits zou kunnen scoren, dat ze dan ook met hologram optredens zou kunnen werken.
Jessie in duet met Marcy Cortega.
In the near future, anyone will have the power to create advanced virtual personalities and interact with them like never before. These virtual beings will grow, adapt, and engage on a deeply personal level. That's why we're building Chroniclefields. Welcome to a new era of human connection, where your imagination becomes reality.
Thank you. Now, this was just a short presentation. I would like to thank you for your time, for having me over here. If you have any question, my colleague and I will stay for the evening. And yeah, we'll talk very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pieter Marnef. Create your own girlfriend, why not? All right. Are we feeling frisky? I think we are. We're going to conclude this great edition of Think Next. And for that, we have another very special speaker for you. Now, as you probably know, or might not know, Proximus Group acquired a majority stake in Route Mobile. Well, the integration of Route Mobile is an important new chapter in Proximus' international story. And that international story, ladies and gentlemen, is growing fast. Very fast. Yes, it is, because Proximus Group expects to have the international segment to bring it to an annual revenue of between 2 and 2.5 billion euros across 3 international brands, BICS, Telesign, and Route Mobile. And this brings me to our next speaker. He will tell us more about how Proximus is constantly evolving from a leading Belgian telco provider to a leading international digital communication player. Please welcome to the CEO of Proximus Group, Guillaume Boutin.
Good evening. If you want to see Marcy tonight, you just have to switch to Proximus TV and Pix, and you can have a better understanding of what Marcy can bring to customer intimacy on Proximus Pix. I have to say, we had quite a week at Proximus. We were in the press, we were at the Parliament. So when I'm looking at that video, and I was looking at what you discussed today, the effort of the teams. I was thinking, I have to change plans. So I cannot be tonight in front of you without explaining a bit what I shared with the Parliament and with the press over the week. And when I look at that video of the Proximus Next, I always think about the difficulty, the complexity of being a leader, of having to make choices, having to create plans, to create strategy in a world which is extremely uncertain. And we have the same issues. You are mostly CEOs and CIOs, and I'm also the same. We are in the same boat. We are trying to execute plans, strategy that are not always easy to deliver. And we have to make choices, we have to stay strong, we have to rely on the team and explain what we're trying to achieve. The only difference between you and I is sometimes I have to explain in front of politicians. And it's not always an easy task, and I spent 4 hours with my chairman to try to explain a bit the telco trends and where we are with Proximus. And I'll try to summarize to you what we shared during 4 hours in a very short amount of time, so no worries. It's going to be short. But what we try to explain to politicians is that the European telco industry is facing a lot of challenges for 2 main reasons. Regulation. We are heavily regulated. And second reason is we have a lack of scale. If you compare EU telco industry with the US telco industry and with the Chinese telco industry, you have 100 mobile operators in Europe, 4 in the US, 4 in China. It means that per network, you have 5 million citizens on average in Europe, 100 million citizens on average in the US, and 300 million in average in China. So that lack of scale of course, is helping the US industry to thrive, because when you have that kind of scale, you can allocate more capital for innovation, you can allocate more capital for investments, and you can create innovation, of course. And if you look back on the last 25 years, most of the most impressive innovation of that industry, of our industry, are coming from the US. Why? Because the market cap has been multiplied by 3 in 10 years, while EU operators lost, in average, compared to the peak, between 70 and 80% of the value. So Proximus, if you look at the share price, there's a lot of debate around the share price of Proximus, is not an exception. The only outlier on that chart is Deutsche Telekom, as you can notice. And why Deutsche Telekom is different? Because it's exposed to the US thanks to T-Mobile. And if you remove T-Mobile from the market cap of Deutsche Telekom, multiples of Europe for Deutsche Telekom or for Germany will be super similar to the one of Proximus. So there is not an exception on the share price evolution of Proximus. What is different is the timing of it. Because for us, for the Belgium industry, it's arriving, it's happening now as we speak. And some investors are saying, are we facing a perfect storm? And what is a perfect storm for Belgium? So there are 2 elements. First element, we are late. We are late in terms of replacement of our old technologies, coax and copper, by the future-proof technology, which is fiber. And fiber coverage, end of last year, 28% for Belgium. And you see the coverage percentage in France, in the Netherlands, in Spain, in Portugal. They are all above 80%. Second element, despite the lack of scale of Belgium, you're going to have more operators. We're going to be soon 4 mobile operators for countries the size of Belgium. Doesn't make sense. That's why, and Telenet and Proximus, it's not a Proximus specificity, we are losing market value. And that's why also Liberty Global decided 1 year ago to take private Telenet after 70% of market value loss. So there is not a Proximus specificity in what's happening on the share price. This is a market specificity and a Belgium specificity on the timing of it. Because the moment you see the end of the capex peak, the moment of fiber is being deployed, and you are past the peak, share price will come back. The moment we have absorbed the new entrant, share price stabilizes and comes back. That's exactly what's going to happen in the next years for the Belgian market, not only for Proximus, but for Proximus especially. Yet, when you see what's happening today, when you see that event, when you see the talent of the teams of the company, we're in great shape. Because it's a decision to invest. We're investing, so we are putting some pressure on the cash flow, but we're going to invest 6 billion in a fiber network to prep for the future of the company. If we don't do it now, we are not creating a future for Proximus, a future for Belgium. We need high-speed broadband networks to help you being more competitive, to help you create innovation, because there is a correlation between the quality of the infrastructure and the GDP growth. That's why it's super important to invest. So we are making the choice to invest. If we stop investing tomorrow, free cash flow goes up and share price goes up. It's a choice. And it's a super important choice because it's not only a choice for us, Proximus, it's a choice for Belgium. So we have 3.3 million customers. Most of them are extremely satisfied, 80%. I hope you are part of those very happy customers of Proximus. We have 44% of the market in fixed. We are 42% of the market in mobile. And we are winning market shares. Every quarter, we deliver results publicly announced where we demonstrate that we are winning market shares. Today we have 7 billion of revenues worldwide, and we're growing 3%. Not only on revenues, we're also growing 3% on EBITDA, which puts us in the best performing operators in Europe as it comes to revenue and EBITDA growth. We have a very, very simple recipe for that. Network superiority, we deliver the best networks. We have the best brands, Proximus, Scarlett, Mobile Vikings, but also Proximus Next. And we have the best products and services. And I hope you agree that also we have the best talent. And there is one pillar which is quite obvious if you spent a few hours today with us: innovation. Innovation on quantum, on cybersecurity, on Proximus Pix with Marcy, on health, on customer relationship. We've launched Proximus Plus, which is a unique B2C application. On drones, on quantum, we are leading the way on quantum. So I hope you're convinced that innovation is part of the success of Proximus for Belgium, Luxembourg, and Netherlands activities. But we also want to innovate internationally, and that's, the part I wanted to share with you tonight, and the part which is extremely exciting. Proximus Global. That's the new company we have created to put together all our global activities. And that company is not a new thing. Because sometimes you read in the press, why Proximus is investing in international activities. We have been in that global business with BICS for 20 years. What we just did, we just supercharged it in 2021. Sometimes also we say, where are the unicorn in Belgium? Proximus Global is a unicorn. The value of Proximus Global today is 2.3 billion. The value of Proximus Global today is 2.3 billion. And it's profitable. So, Rajdip, the CEO of Route Mobile, is used to say it's a proficorn. It's a unicorn, but it's also profitable. 2 billion euro of revenues, you said it, Ben. Value creation in 3 years, 1.3 billion. Extremely profitable business. It's going to grow double-digit for the next 5 years. And what it is, it's enabling trustworthy engagement worldwide. We connect, we protect. Marijke was saying, we use digital identity with Microsoft. That digital identity product is delivered by Proximus Global. And we engage customers worldwide. But it's better probably to look at a little movie to explain more precisely what we're doing.
Imagine a world where every customer interaction is seamless, secure, and engaging. We believe in the philosophy of connect, protect, engage, your gateway to building trustworthy connections globally. Meet Proximus Global, Telesign, BICS, and Route Mobile. 3 global leaders united to create seamless digital experiences. Together, delivering unmatched customer journeys with verified digital identities, immersive messaging, and seamless global connectivity. Our solutions span across the customer lifecycle. Let's explore from the lens of an e-commerce company. When a new customer signs up, Telesign provides your first line of defense against fraud, allowing only trusted profiles to enter. BICS empowers robust network security for enterprise applications. Every time a customer logs in, Telesign's Verify API ensures the authentication is smooth and secure. Customers expecting seamless experiences even on conversational channels is making digital interactions more immersive, even beyond mobile apps. At checkout, Root Mobile safeguards transactions with one-time password authentication, securing payments in real time. Post-purchase, Root Mobile keeps customers informed and engaged with real-time updates via omni-channel communications. When the shipment is on its way, BIC's IoT solution helps enterprises track real-time material movement. If questions arise, customers can seamlessly converse on their preferred channel. Root Mobile's OTT and bot solutions provide seamless support, ensuring quick and efficient responses. Meanwhile, BICS enhances the experience with reliable voice-based customer support. Enterprises can collect feedback from customers on their preferred channels powered by Root Mobile. From customer acquisition to engagement to support, Proximus Global turns every customer touchpoint into an opportunity to build trust and connection.
So this is what we deliver for our customers. If you want to summarize it in a different way, is basically sending the right message to the right person at the right moment, using the right channel globally. And our solutions, our customers, so Microsoft is a partner, but also a customer of Proximus Global for a lot of activities. But you can see it's operators worldwide, but also all the largest internet platforms of the world. Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, I said it, Google, Uber, WhatsApp. You probably don't know it, but you probably have been exposed to our services at least 7 or 10 times last week, because we are enabling those platforms. So when you log on those platforms, or you have an interaction with those platforms, you are using our services behind the scene. How we do that? Connect part. We have a network of networks. We have access to 5 billion of SIM cards globally, thanks to the biggest networks of networks. And that's a unique competitive advantage. Why? Because we carry, I'm going to repeat it, we carry 50% of the data roaming traffic of the world. 50%, Proximus. We have access, we verify 5 billion phone numbers every month. 30 billion digital communications per month. And we have on that platform more than 150 million IoT devices connected. That's the strength of the platform. A few use cases. We are enabling metro ticketing in New Delhi. 100K tickets per day are enabled thanks to our platforms. We have, with Meta, one of our very important customers, 1.5 million authentication checks every day, 500K SMS transactions per day. That's the kind of volume we have on our platforms. We are blocking fraud for roadblocks so that we can make sure that every connection to the Roblox platform is secured. That's the kind of use case we are delivering day after day, and then creating the leadership of Proximus Global as a tech company. Because we have created a worldwide leader. We are in the top 5 companies in that space. With 2 billion euro of revenues, we are just behind Sinch and Twilio, the 2 leaders of the space. So you know when in software you are in the top 5, you have won. You know that you are in the truth of what needs to be done to be successful. So if I do summarize, we have a very strong telco business. We are the leaders, we are winning market shares, but we are confronted to a very important investment cycle. And some disruption is arriving on that market. But we are growing, we are winning market shares, and we are thriving. But we have decided to invest, to protect the future of the company for the next 80 years. In 19 platforms, we have created a worldwide leader, 2 billion euro of revenues, and little by little, our two legs are converging. And so that's probably the topic for the next year keynote, but with just one example. More and more, access to network are going softwareized. So meaning you're going to have a programmatic access to telco networks. And when you say programmatic access to networks, you could start to say API, so that your network becomes a platform. And this is where you see the convergence in between my telco leg and my platform leg. So more and more, Proximus will become that tech company that will be a leader of that new emerging economy around IT and telco convergence. And we do that to create, and that's important for us as a company as well, a champion for and from Belgium. Thank you, and have a nice evening. And now, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Boutin. To be honest, it was quite the experience hearing you speak, because there's so many things we do not know about this company. That's why it's really interesting to hear you speak about all the activities you guys are doing. On the other hand, I think I speak for all of us when I say that this has been quite the success. This Think Next event, it is great, isn't it? It is.
I hope so.
Yes, of course. It's your baby, Anne-Sophie. Come on.
It is
you did a great job.
It is our baby. First of all, thank you very much, Guillaume, for the presentation. Thank you as well all for attending. I hope you found all of these sessions very insightful, that will give you some ideas as to how you want to translate those into your roadmaps, going back to your regular days at work. What I want to do now, because I think we're all very thirsty, aren't we? Yes, we are, is to invite you to have a drink and dinner in the Innovation Avenue just straight ahead of us, behind us, and see you there. But before you do that, I'll just like to remind you of the fact that we have our Think Next event next year on the 27th of November 2025. Location still to be confirmed, so I look forward to seeing you all there again. And before we leave the stage, I'd really like you to all again extend a huge warm of applause for everybody that made this event possible, to our partners for being here and supporting us throughout this whole day, but throughout the journey that we have, and last but not least, to all of our super teams and super customers for being here today. So thank you all very, very much, and see you with a drink.
See you next year. See you at the drink. Thank you. Excellent work.